Phil and Will are back with more off-season podcasting. Should be getting some season 30 news coming up pretty shortly. But what got us thinking here is the theme this season is white collar versus blue collar versus no collar. What we're going to actually end up doing is we're going to start talking about some winners and we're going to put together some tribes. But first, let's actually talk about what's going to be coming up here in season 30. And first of all, what do you think about the theme? Do you think it's a good one? You think that they're kind of reaching? What do you think?
It's a Survivor theme. It's just an arbitrary way to divide up the tribes. I don't think it's much more than that. The thing that does excite me though is the three-tribe start. This is something that we've seen, I think, only 3 times: All Stars, Philippines, and Cagayan. And for the most part, I really like those seasons. And the brains, bronze versus beauty. If you look at the people in those tribes, they didn't all just fit into one. So it's very kind of loosely who you're with. And I've just heard nothing but good things about this season, just from people like Jeff has said it's a great season. People that were out there, if you read some of their blogs or stuff, it's supposedly pretty good. But the theme, I like the three-tribe setup. I guess it's interesting. There's going to be some twist, I think, based on it. Jeff was saying. I'm not sure what the twist is. Do you have any idea what the twist could be?
My thing is, I hope that it's not giving too much power to one tribe, because I know he keeps on emphasizing the whole the white collar make the rules, and I hope this doesn't turn into something like Fiji where they had the haves and the have-nots, because that kind of really did put a hindrance on the season because the haves just won everything, and I don't want it to be like where the whites get too much power. Not that I think they will, but I hope they don't. I hope they don't mess with the whole idea of Survivor too much. I'm all for a twist, but I hope it's just not too much.
Yeah, I'm not worried about. I can see if I haven't heard good things about the season, I could see something really weird going on, because like Jeff keeps saying, white collar makes the rules, blue collar follows the rules, and no collar breaks the rules. So if there are these rules that the white collar tribe makes up, it could get a little weird, and the blue collar tribe has to follow them. And I don't see anything weird like that happening. I'm interested to see exactly kind of what this new twist is that Jeff has kind of been teasing. I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the people get along. Because if you think, this is not brains, bronze versus beauty. It's not about who you are. It's kind of just a trait. You can be beautiful, but there are a bunch of different beautiful people. If you put a bunch of no-collar people in the same tribe, I can see them kind of getting along. And this depends on how true they stick to this, because just like brains, bronze versus beauty, it could be very loose. We've talked about that before, how there's Jeremiah was a farmer or something.
No, that was it was LJ. He was a horse trainer.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay was a hairstylist, and she was on Brawn, because fighting with hair, it requires a lot of muscles.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to be just so,
yeah,
black or white. You're white collar, you're no collar, you're blue collar. But it'll be interesting to see how the twist plays out. I'm sure there will be a tribe mix-up, or we'll get cut down to 2 tribes, by episode 4 or 5. So with all these twists, they don't really seem to last that long, and they just kind of are a draw for to name the season. It's in Nicaragua again. They've used Redemption Island. They've used Nicaragua. They use San Juan del Sur. They need to have a name. So Worlds Apart, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and my thing is, as long as Jeff's gonna play it up ridiculously, a ridiculous amount. He's gonna be like, "Oh, white collar, you're so much better than these blue collar, and the no collar, they must piss off." He's gonna play it up more, like he does with every theme. But I think what's gonna end up happening is as long as they get the right people, I agree with you. It's not so much with beauty, brawn, and brains where you could butt heads over this stuff. These are people that are kind of like you. And especially with the no collar, I feel like they would all get along really well, whereas the white collar might butt heads more because they want to make the rules, and the blue collar might get along really well too because they'll just be out there working hard. And being most blue collar people who've been on this show have been better people, good people and more fun. So we'll see how it works, but I think it could work pretty well.
I can just see you talking about these themes. I can just see Jeff at Tribal Council at the blue collar tribe I'm sure everyone's working really hard at camp, but are you lacking kind of that leadership, that rule-making ability that maybe the white collar tribe has? Like I can
And
totally see Jeff playing this up so much
and if
and a whole
if
other.
no collar goes to the first tribal council, it's going to be, oh, it's because you guys don't have a leader, and it's because you guys are just laying around doing nothing all day. Like, he's just going to make the assumptions and blow it out of proportion. As long as he's the only one doing it, it'll work well, because that's what happened with Brains, Bronze, and Beauty. He played it up so much, and everybody else was just kind of like, yeah, this is the tribe we're on, but who really cares? I'm a smart. Tony knew he was a smart guy. You know, he could have been on any tribe. It didn't matter. He couldn't have been on Beauty, but he could have been on any tribe. So I don't think they really cared.
Totally on the Beauty tribe. That would have been fun to see.
That would have been something.
So who do you I mean, we don't know the cast yet. Who do you think wins this season? From what tribe is the original person?
I got to make a blind guess.
Right, exactly. That's the thing with this. This theme matters so little to like the individual people and who they are.
Yeah.
That it's really just like that's how little the theme means. Because you could have a blue collar person who it's so up in the air. Like,
you know what it is? If I have to make a blind guess, based on kind of looking at past winners, I at least listed most of the past winners as no collar. So I would say, yeah, no collar. They got the upper hand because they won't piss each other off, whereas white and blue are going to, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna go blue collar. So this is before we see anything. Our preseason predictions. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe one of us will be right.
And I'm writing it down too because I want to know if I actually end up winning that blind over you.
Well, this is being recorded, obviously, so you know.
Yeah,
I
but
won't forget either. I'm picking blue collar.
Yeah, and I got no.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each of the winners and just try to place them into one of the three tribes, and then we're gonna actually draft three tribes: a white collar tribe, a blue collar tribe, and a no collar tribe, and try to make an interesting season, not just strictly theme based, but you know, try to make the tribes equal strength wise, and try to bring some winners back who we haven't seen, you know, 100 times. So yeah, Boston Rob won't be a member unless we really need him. Unless there like aren't enough. He's construction, so maybe there aren't enough blue collar people, and we'll need him. But do you want to start going through it and then see what kind of stuff we can form?
Yeah, I guess we'll just start with season one with what I think is a really easy one, with Hatch being white collar. I think he's a clear white collar. That's all they talked about the entire season. Him and Sue would butt heads just because he was white collar and she was the redneck hoofing it in the woods. Like, that's every confessional from Sue is, oh, this corporate America is not going to work. So I think Hatch was a really easy one. He's definitely a white collar. He's a white collar guy.
Yeah, what is his job exactly? I mean, I think he did real estate. It says corporate trainer. I mean, he's just, I guess, a white collar guy all around. I don't think there's much debate here.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at the other ones, he's not blue collar. He could be no collar, being that he was like openly gay on the show, and and he evaded taxes. He's in jail, like, so he could be no collar. But you know, if I'm looking at Hatch, the way he came in and even the way he played white collar, where it was, I'm coming in with this plan, this is how it's set up, and you know, he's a white collar guy.
Yeah, yeah, white collar. That's an easy one. Okay, so Tina, Australia.
She's a little bit harder.
She's a nurse.
Yeah, and I guess Tina, would a nurse be considered blue?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not no collar, and it's definitely not white collar.
Yeah, but it's not like the traditional sense.
You're using your hands. That's one of the things Probe said. He's like, people who, you know, use their hands. She has a boss. She works probably lame hours, like probably nights sometimes. Like, it's not like a, you know, that's hard work.
I doubt she works anymore, to be honest with you, but you know.
Yeah, she's a millionaire.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, all these people are. Well, you know, before the taxes. But so yeah, I guess blue collar. And it's not like she's a white collar. It's not like she's making the rules. We can also use that to help us, like, who makes the rules? Do they follow rules, make rules, or break rules?
Yeah.
If we want to use that. So yeah, sure. Tina's blue. She's
not exactly like what you would think of with a cop, a firefighter, a construction worker, but at the same time, I mean, that's just where she's going to have to fit because, like you said, we'll use that whole rules thing that Jeff keeps promoting to really differentiate between these ones that are close or kind of don't fit too well. And
Exactly. It's not that like there's two close ones here. It's that none of them really fit all that well. But
yeah.
blue collar, I think this is a pretty clear one too. That she's blue collar.
Okay.
Okay. Ethan, Africa.
Easy no collar because he was the soccer player. He raised all like the foundations, his charities, all that stuff. He was an easy no collar. He wasn't following. I mean, I guess he's following rules of referees, but it's not like he's a blue collar job or a white collar job. He's a soccer player.
Yeah, a professional athlete is neither white nor blue. It's kind of I'm gonna do my own thing. Not work for a company. I mean, I guess he works for his team that he plays on, but. Yeah, that's a no collar. So wow, our first three winners are in the order actually of the way they even list them. That Jeff lists them is white collar, blue collar, no collar.
Well, that would be easy then for if Survivor ever wanted to just go with winners, they could just take the first three winners and make them like team captains. It would be simple.
There you go.
They wouldn't even have to think.
Okay. Yeah, this has been easy so far.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Vesepia.
Keep the tradition going that she's white collar. Keep the little pattern going here because I think
you can go the pattern.
I think she's an easy white collar as well because she was. I forget what her exact job title was, but I know that she was the boss of something. Like she was some type of almost like what Hatch, where she was like corporate America. I forget exactly what her job was. Do you have that?
I think she was some like executive or like just some corporate. I think she just reeks of white collar.
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of what it comes down to.
I don't even know what her exact job is. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now. But I remember it being something corporate.
She's a U.S. Air Force veteran too, which also, I guess that would mean that she follows the rules. But I guess
that would be a little more blue, like Air Force.
I think that's actually what they might have listed her as on Marquesas as an Air Force vet.
Let's see. Office manager.
Okay, that's white collar.
that was her Marquesas profile. At least that's what it says on Survivor Wikia.
Well, then that's an easy white collar because if you're a manager of something, you're making those rules. Granted, you're not at the very top.
And she's in an office. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're sticking with the pattern. Vesepia is white collar. Okay. Brian, Thailand.
This one's tougher because he could be blue or no.
Salesman. Well, he's not white collar. We can rule
Definitely
white collar out for Brian.
Yeah. But he could be either blue or no collar. And I guess what kind of with him is knowing what he did after the show, you almost throw him in as no collar because he was like kind of nuts. And as a used car salesman, is that really a blue collar job? I don't feel like they're following rules at all.
Yeah, I feel like with a used car salesman, you kind of pick when you work. Maybe like you work completely you get paid on compensation. Like you don't have like a salary, I don't think. So you're kind of on your own there.
Yeah, I've never been a used car salesman, so I'm not sure, but
right. Okay, I say we pencil him in as no collar, but if we like really need him when we're making the tribes, he could be blue. Like he could go either way. But I would say no.
Yeah, I think no makes the most sense because a used car salesman, I feel like he's almost breaking rules by selling used cars. Everything you hear about used car salesmen is they're sleazy, they're weird, So I feel like it almost just fits perfectly for Brian.
And he was like the perfect sleazy used car salesman.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then everything he does afterwards. I mean, my God, the guy was a nutcase. So
wait, what did he do afterwards? I'm not too.
With what was it? He like beat his wife and like shot his puppy or whatever the hell he did.
What?
You never knew that?
No, man.
That's why. That's one of the main reasons that like everybody hates him.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Maybe that's why he hasn't been brought back yet.
Yeah, dude, he was a nutcase. Yeah.
He shot his puppy?
Yeah, I think he shot his puppy.
If he did that, man, he's one of my favorite winners. That would put him at one of my least favorite. I love puppies.
Yeah, I mean, I do too, but I still love Brian Heidik on the show of Survivor, and I'd love to see him.
He killed it out there.
Yeah,
but he did say this is a business trip, so maybe he's a white collar hiding.
Maybe, but he also worked as a softcore porn star.
Yeah, all right, he's no collar.
He's no, that was easy. That made it easier. He went under the name of David Roth, if anybody's curious. Yeah, he was arrested for allegedly shooting a 12 to 16-week-old Shepherd Hound mixed puppy with an arrow.
With an arrow. Did he kill it?
Uh, let's see. He thought the animal who had wandered on. The arrow traveled into the ribcage of the puppy and out the abdomen on the other side. Charged with domestic battery and felony cruelty to animals, which was later reduced to misdemeanor. So I guess, the dog survived and was returned to its owner.
Okay, I still like him.
Yeah, okay. But yeah,
All
there
right.
you go. There's
We'll put him at
Brian
no collar.
Heidick trivia. All right, let's go on to
We
season
could do
6.
a whole podcast on Brian Heidick. It sounds like.
You really could do one. That guy was an interesting dude, and he was.
Well, if the cast announcements don't come out next week, that will be our filler
There you go.
episode.
Life and Times of Brian Heidick, softcore porn star David Roth.
Okay.
All right, Survivor Amazon Jenna. She was a model at the time, so I think she's also an easy. I think she's a no collar. I think models are no collar.
Oh yeah, they're
You
certainly not blue collar. I'm not. You can't give a model blue collar.
Yeah.
I don't think is that hard work with your hands or working outdoors. This is what Jeff was saying to classify them.
Well, you know what I think of too. Like when I think of models, you would put them on a beauty tribe. You know, like models are on a beauty tribe, and then you think that LJ was on that beauty tribe still as like a blue collar guy. That still blows my mind. But anyway, yeah, Jenna's a no collar. Models, she's not making rules. You know,
No.
although she did make the chocolate and peanut butter rule.
Thank God she did.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah, I think that's easy. And I think we have a few models in here as we go through. So yeah, Jenna no collar, pretty easy. Okay,
Yeah.
Sandra.
You know, I went back and forth on her between blue and no.
Let's see. What's her? I feel like she's a mom and a wife.
Yeah, which is why I thought of her as a no collar, but then she does have a job, and it's like in an office, so I thought of it as like blue collar because it wasn't like,
She's an office assistant.
which is like a blue collar job, isn't it? I mean, it's not like, or is that white collar?
No, she's an assistant. And you can work in an office and still be blue collar. Like just because you work in an office doesn't mean you're white collar. Like
Yeah,
you can have a shitty 9 to 5 job in an office, not get paid much, not make the rules, and be blue collar.
Yeah, so I guess she's got to be blue collar there, but I do remember that they were talking where she was mainly a stay-at-home. I thought she was a stay-at-home mom at least. Maybe that was just during Heroes vs. Villains.
Yeah, and being a mom and a wife, like that's still like a lot of work, like raising kids and stuff. I'd still say that's not no collar. Like you're doing something for other people. Like I would say she's blue collar.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I was going back and forth on her, so I could see either way.
Okay, I'm gonna pencil her in as blue, and yeah, I don't even know if Sandra would really play again, to be honest.
Yeah, but
So when we do our draft, we might not even really want to put Sandra there because we want to do something kind of realistic. You know what I mean?
but she would be so interesting to see play again. That would be great.
Of course, but no one's gonna let her win 3 times. Like
That's true.
Like it's just, and she doesn't want to ruin her legacy. You know, I really doubt she plays again. I mean, she could, but I doubt it. Okay, on to Amba.
Dude, I have no idea because wasn't she like a college student when she first got on in Australia?
Sure. Yeah. We'll
Or,
see.
like right out of college?
No, she's an administrative assistant.
That sounds like blue collar.
Yeah. But just knowing what happened with Amber, that she just like won $1 million, married Rob, and then Rob won $1 million. They went on The Amazing Race, and like they had their wedding broadcast on national television. I feel like she's just a reality star, which is no collar.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that, where she really blew up the whole, oh, I was on Survivor and I got married to someone on Survivor, so now I'm just going to be on every show that ever wants a couple because we're already famous. Like, she really did do that.
Which is a smart move by her. She milked
Yeah,
it,
dude.
you know. She didn't even play that great of a game in All Stars, and she still won.
She
And
played
got
the
married.
Yeah, she played the ride Rob's coattails, and really Rob won that game because he got married to Amber and he got $1 million just by marrying her for getting second
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
So
that was impressive.
yeah, I think no collar probably fits her better because of not so much from Australia, but by the time she hit, even when she hit All Stars, she wasn't no collar, I don't think. But now knowing like what she's done with her life, she's definitely got to be no collar.
Yeah, we're casting them now, like based on what they are now, not when they.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you could just say all these people are no color now because
they all won.
are all on Survivor, but we're not going to go down that road. Just for Amber, like, what else does she really do? Like, she's a mom,
Yeah.
she's a wife, she's a reality star. So.
Yep. And now we got the poster child for blue collar with Chris.
Chris is construction, right?
Yeah, he's the poster child for blue collar. Just even the way he talked, the way he acted on his show. I mean, he's just blue collar all the way.
Yeah. Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that was cake. And then next we have Tom, and
okay, that's easy too. He's
that's
a
an easy
firefighter.
blue collar. Yeah.
All
And
right.
both of the yeah, I mean those we
I mean,
can't.
it's not like I don't want to talk about those guys. I like both those guys, but
They're easy blue collar.
they're easy. They're easy to say. So
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Danny.
Danny, she's a sports radio talk show girl.
Yeah. She was when she was on Guatemala. I don't really know too much about Danny post Guatemala because she kind of disappeared off. She kind of disappeared from the scene a little bit. But I mean, she was a Kansas City, talk show host for sports, which I think
sounds pretty no color.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm gonna do my own thing. I feel like blue collar are jobs where you have it's like a normal job, and then white collar it's where you're kind of something corporate or executive. You're a CEO or an owner, something like that. And then no collar is just kind of like everything else.
The way I look at no collar is those are the people who are trying their hardest to be famous, like for something that's not necessarily really a hard job, and you're kind of just out there doing your own thing. Like a talk show host, that's kind of artsy. As much as it's not, it kind of is.
Yeah, it's like what we're doing right now, podcasting to the 5 people who listen.
Exactly.
If this was our job, it would be very no collar.
Exactly, because we're sitting here and I'm wearing a sweatshirt and you're wearing a t-shirt. Like you don't have to, that's another thing. You don't really have to wear a uniform or anything for these jobs when you look at this stuff too.
Yeah. Okay, that's an easy one. No collar for Danny. Aris.
No collar.
Yoga instructor, right?
Yeah. That's an easy no collar.
Something else? What else did you do? Was that it? Just a yoga instructor?
I'm pretty sure that was it, and then he won the $1 million and then just kept doing yoga. He's
a musician as well.
Yeah, that's no collar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Another no collar.
And even the way he was on Blood versus Water, he's just he was just a no collar seeming guy.
Yeah.
His whole persona.
Let's recap just what we have, and we can count. Okay, so we have Hatch is white, Tina blue, Ethan no, Vesepia white, Brian no, Jenna no, Sandra blue, Amba no, Chris blue, Tom blue, Danny no, Aris no.
So we only have
only
white collar.
Yeah, 2 white collars, and then 4 blue collars,
and 6 no collars,
and 6 no collars. So maybe you were right earlier.
I told you.
Maybe no collars are the most prevalent, but we're only through 12 of 28 winners. So
yeah, and now we're getting to season 13 where this might be the poster child for white collar. We had Chris as the poster child for blue. Yul. I mean, what is he now? I don't remember what he was when he was on Cook Islands, but now he's like a senator or something, isn't he?
He is?
He's something cool.
He was a management consultant for Cook Islands, I think.
And now, let's see, he was appointed Deputy Chief of the Consumer and Governmental Affairs Bureau for the Federal Communications Commission.
From there, he joined Google's business strategy group, and then most recently went back into consulting. his favorite hobbies are politics. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's white collar all the way.
Yeah. And I think that might be one of the reasons why Yule was never kind of brought back. He almost got like a boring personality, even though he was kind of fun to watch. He is sort of like he's like an out there guy for, he's too white collar.
People think Yule is like really boring. I don't really agree. I liked his game. He was so smart and like on top of things when he played. Like he might not be the most exciting character, but to say he's boring, I thought it was fun to watch because of how boring he was, but like so he didn't need to do anything crazy. Like he was so on top of just
He was calm.
Yeah, so calm, cool, collected, smart, strategic.
I think that's what bores people is how calm he was because he didn't have to get out of hand. He was just a laid back guy who was just out there to win Survivor and he didn't have to do anything crazy. And I think it would be kind of cool to see him play with some like really good players like winners because on that season he had Ozzy and everybody else. I mean, Penner was pretty good, but nobody liked Penner. Everybody else on that season was kind of like a character more than they were a player. And that might be also why Yule was unliked because he was the least character on a season full of characters.
Right. Yeah, I really would like to see Yule play again. And so we're struggling with white collar people. I'm pretty stoked to have Yule be white collar. Okay. On to Earl.
I think he's white collar too.
Yeah. Let me check here. Let's see. What was his job?
Entrepreneur, producer, philanthropist, and former California advertising executive.
Yeah, for his Fiji profile, ad executive. Totally white collar.
Yeah.
He could be a poster boy white collar too, if you want.
And him and Yule are in the same boat where they're great, fantastic winners, but everybody finds them kind of boring.
That's true. They have, either have been brought back.
I think they were kind of overshadowed. Yule was overshadowed by Ozzy, and then Earl was overshadowed by Yowman.
Yeah, and they just neither really did anything that crazy, like we said about Yule.
Yeah.
All right, well, there is 2 white collars, so now white collar is at 4, blue collar is at 4, no collar is at 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Todd. Man, I don't know.
I think, for me, I feel like he's blue collar because he was a flight attendant at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like not the most blue collar job, but you have to fly all the time. You're working you have a boss. You're not making any rules. You do have a legitimate job, so it's not like no collar. But then when he won, then he blew all his money on cocaine and heroin.
He's an alcoholic.
And alcohol. So that could be a little bit no collary. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Where do you land with Todd?
I think what we do is we go with what Todd was like when he was on the show, and he was a blue collar guy. And I feel like he's still probably working, and even though he's an alcoholic, and hopefully he does get better from that because I'd love to see him back on the show. I feel like he's more of a blue collar. I don't think we should, use his demons against him. I'm sure. I mean, Brian killed something, everybody has their problems. Brian was just a used car salesman, so it's easy to put him as no collar. Todd, blue collar, I think.
Okay, yeah, that works for me. Blue collar for Todd. Yeah. Parvati.
She's a model for boxing, so I think that's an easy no collar, man.
Wasn't she? Yeah, she was a boxer, right?
They said she was a boxer, but I looked it up. She modeled for she was a boxing model.
But didn't she actually box and fight, or no?
I don't know. I think she was just a model for it. She might have done this stuff so that she had the body she did, but I'm pretty sure she was like a model. She would wear boxing gloves and yoga pants and model with boxing. I think that's what it was, man. I might be insane, but I think that's what it was.
No, either if she boxed or if she just modeled, either way, that's no collar. That's pretty easy. I don't want to see Parvati play again, so I don't think we're gonna put her in our season anyway. So
yeah.
Okay. Gabon, Bob Crowley.
Yeah, I think he's a teacher.
Yeah, teacher's blue collar. He's a high school teacher, putting up with high school kids all day, and you're working probably 8 to 5, 9 to 5, one of the. So I think that's a pretty
And
easy blue collar.
and I think out of all the people we've gone through so far, all the winners, he's blue collar, but he played the game like no collar. And I feel like everybody else kind of played the game the way that they kind of fit in the real world. And I feel like Bob kind of played up like he was like this Boy Scout almost. You know, he was just an old Boy Scout who was like reliving his childhood dreams. And he almost played it like no collar. It was just like, I'm going to go around and I'm just going to, love living off the land and stuff. Like he just was having a good time. I feel like he played it more no collar than blue.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear you.
But I'd still put him as a blue collar person.
Definitely. Yeah, I think he still teaches. So
Yeah.
he's probably old now, so I don't know if he could make another Survivor season.
Yeah, he was 57 when he won anyway, and now what are we?
That was
Almost
season
6 years?
17. So
6 or 7 years.
Yeah, around 6 years, I think.
Rudy played when he was 76, man, and Bob was in damn good shape for a 57-year-old.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, if he's 63 and still got it, who knows? Who knows
That's not
what he's
too-
up to?
Yeah.
Okay. Token teens, JT,
Anybody?
slam dunk,
Yeah. Can anybody guess?
blue collar. He's a rancher, right? Farmer, rancher.
I mean, he. What was he saying on Heroes versus Villains? He talks about how like he milks cows and that's all he talks about.
That's all
He's
he
a good
talks
old
about.
country boy.
He is. He's a
Doesn't
cattle rancher.
Yeah. It doesn't get more blue collar than JT. Him and Chris can duke it out for who's the most blue collar.
I'd probably give it to JT just because he's like living on like a ranch.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
he
kind of
works
agree with you.
outside more probably than I mean, construction you can work inside sometimes if you're, you already built the roof. So
Yeah. Yeah. So that's an
okay,
easy one.
yeah. Natalie White,
Put her on white.
might as well. It's her last name.
Yeah. Ha ha. We did it. We made the joke. It's brutal.
What was she? What her job is?
Pharmaceutical rep, I think.
Pharmaceutical sales. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I doubt she's in any position of power, but I mean, if she is a salesperson, salespeople work hard and they get paid like often on commission. So I mean, you could say she's blue collar, but she's just a very white collar person, I feel like.
Well, I could see her being blue because of like kind of what you just said, where she is like she's just in the sales. I always thought of her more as white collar too, because I mean the way she even acted on the show, where she comes out and she's like when she killed like the animal, like it was like adorable and like weird because she doesn't seem like a blue collar person. Blue collar people, I think of JT walking up and wringing a chicken's neck like there's no problem. And there's even there's women who have played the show who are like that. Natalie is not like
Twyla.
Twyla, exactly. There you go, prime example. Natalie's not like that.
Jambo.
Jambo. Yeah, those are blue collar people. Natalie's not blue collar.
Right. I don't think even if her job is a little bit blue collar, I feel like she's just a white collar. And she won the game, so she's probably not doing something as blue collar anymore.
Yeah.
And her last name's White, so it's like, come on.
Yeah, we're gonna keep honing in on that one.
Yeah, she's white collar.
All right, so let's move past her. We've already done Sandra. Thanks for getting in there again. Nicaragua, Fabio. I mean, he's no color as it gets.
The poster boy of no collar. We don't have one of those yet.
We don't. You're right, and he is the poster child of it.
He takes it, and he did such a good job. I mean, I've mentioned this all the time. I love Fabio. He's one of my favorite winners. He just he's like a model, but a student when he played. Who knows what he's doing now?
Didn't he say when he won at the reunion, he said that he was going to take all his money and put it towards like a production studio or something like that? I think he wanted to be like a production person.
Maybe. I think
And
he's
then
in
he
a
gets,
band also.
Then he gets like some drunk thing for like riding his skateboard in Santa Monica or something. So like he's a no collar guy. He's out there.
And that hair, totally no collar hair.
Even the way he talked.
Yeah, dude, man, like
Yeah. Everything.
I'm totally no collar, bro.
Yeah. So I agree with you. He's got to be no collar.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to put him. He's the poster. He's the poster boy of no collar.
Yeah.
Okay. Boston Rob,
Blue collar.
blue collar, or no collar because he's like now a reality star. He's played Survivor 4 times, but I guess his real job before was construction. I think he's trying to do a poker career now, but we'll stick with the blue collar for Rob, and we're not putting him in our season. So
Yeah,
doesn't
that
really,
was. Yeah, we don't need 5 times with Boston Rob.
no, or anyone.
Yeah, I mean, once you hit 3, that's almost enough. I think the only one that we kind of both said was like Tina. I could see her coming back for a 4th because she was so spread out. But, we don't
Yeah,
need to see Rupert or Boston Rob or really any of the people who've played 3 times. It gets old.
Coach Russell,
Coach
Ozzy,
Russell.
Parvati. Yeah, no thanks.
You know what it is? Survivor abused their stars in the early 20s with 22, 23, and 24. They kind of, or not 24, but 22, 23, they were so close to the heroes versus villains. It was like, damn, dude. They could have saved Russell for something way down the line in the 30s, and everybody been like, yo, we haven't seen him in 5 years. This could be good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, imagine if he doesn't come back for Redemption Island and he comes back like in 2 seasons from now. And the last time we saw him was back-to-backing Final Tribal Council.
And, like, you can hate Russell all you want, but not you. I'm just saying in general, people can hate Russell all they want. But if he comes back, you're still going to sit there and watch it because you haven't seen him in 5 or 6 years. But they completely abused him and got rid of him. Even with Coach, I could have watched Coach a 3rd time. I did watch Coach a 3rd time, but I don't need to watch him a 4th now.
Right.
No.
Okay. Sophie. Who knows? I don't even know about Sophie.
Yeah, I don't know about Sophie, but
she seems white collar to me, but I don't know what her job is.
What's her last name? I can't remember her last name.
Clark,
that's right. That's the only one I couldn't remember the freaking last name right now. You know what it is with her? I don't know what her job is. She was a student, I think, at the time when she won.
medical student.
But she's going to be a doctor of some sort. She's a white collar person. She's not blue collar, that's for sure. And she's not quirky enough to be
a lot of money. She'll have her own practice, in her own field at some point. I feel completely fine putting her white collar.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I agree. I think she's a white collar.
Okay.
Kim, she's tough. Kim's tough.
She's a bridal, she owns a bridal store.
And because she owns it, that's what makes her tough. Because that's normally a blue collar job, but she owns the place. So does that make her white collar?
I mean, how much money is a bridal store? She's a bridal shop owner. How much does that really bring in? It's not sure, she can make the rules, but it's like a little mom and pop business. She has to work really hard to, probably takes care of a lot of the management and stuff on her own. So I would say that's blue.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. I could see her being white. I don't know enough about her job. She's another one, though. If you do put her as blue, the way she played the game was different than what her collar is in real life.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she played more white collar. Although Troyzan has other things to say about that. I don't know. He hinted at some weird shit back when he was doing his exit interviews, but who knows?
Yeah, but just because she's the owner doesn't really sell the white collar for me enough. I think it's a little business that I'm sure she makes a good amount of money, but I think she does a lot of work. She works hard, and she's not just the owner of the business, but we don't really know enough about how. I mean, she could just own it, get all the money, and hire someone who manages it and is there, 9 to 5, and have all these employees. But I could also see Kim, being that hard worker. So I don't know. We don't really know enough about her, but I'll pencil her in as blue collar.
Yeah, she's like a white/blue, kind of like how Natalie White. We were kind of going back and forth, and then we decided on white. We'll just kind of sit with blue for Kim, but
yeah, I mean, could you argue no collar here?
No, I don't really.
She started her own business, kind of.
But then she makes the rules because she started her own business. So I wouldn't put her so much as no collar because she's not really breaking any rules. I don't feel like.
Okay.
Um, Denise is another little bit of a tough one.
Yeah, Denise is a tough one. She's a sex therapist.
Which kind of like where would a therapist fit in here?
Uh, I don't know. That's why I'm really excited to see like what we get with the cast of season 30 and how tight these people fit into their tribes because a lot of these are going either way.
Yeah, and I think what it comes down to with Denise, maybe because she's a sex therapist, you might lean a little more towards no collar because sex is kind of like taboo in America. So like she might be a little more no collar because that might be like the rule she's breaking is she's openly talking about sex. You know what I mean? Like a little bit, sort of.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. You can see her being no collar. I could see her being blue collar. And if she has her own practice where she's um like the head of her, like she has her own office, she pays, like she could be maybe white collar too. Like Denise I think is one of the few people who could like fall kind of anywhere. Like no collar makes sense. Like what you
Yeah.
said, like she's just talking about sex to people and getting paid for it. And then blue if she's kind of like has a boss. I mean, we don't know exactly what she does, but I could see her kind of fitting in kind of anywhere. And Denise, I want to see play again, so maybe she'll be one of those people we'll use when we're making the tribes. Like we can just kind of squeeze her in when we don't have enough of one,
Yeah.
because we're gonna have to do 3 women on each tribe, 3 men on each tribe.
Yeah.
So it might be tough. So maybe she can just be kind of our wild card.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And then I lean a little towards no on her, but I agree with you. She could fit really anywhere. We'll fit her in somewhere. We'll do what Survivor does. It's like, yeah, we'll stretch it a little bit with her.
Yeah, we'll do Yeah, right. We'll do exactly what the Survivor casting people do. They have their list of people, and then they put them in. They don't
Yeah.
cast based on the theme.
And we're going a
Okay.
little bit. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
Cochran for Karamoan. I think he started off in South Pacific as white collar because of the law school thing, but now he's writing for a TV show on CBS, so that's got to be no collar.
Well, the show got canceled. I don't know if if maybe
Oh,
he's on another staff, but his show did get canceled. But yeah, he was a student at the time, and a student is really hard to place. I guess it depends what you're studying. But
which
yeah,
he
I think Cochran's no collar, just because he's like one survivor and he's writing TV, not really in a white collar job or a blue collar job.
with him he's doing more of he's playing up his celebrity a little bit more than like other Survivor winners are. So I think that kind of throws him at no collar a little bit more.
Yeah, that works for me. Cochran and no collar.
And then Tyson I think's an easy no collar.
Yeah, he was a cyclist, I
Yeah.
think, in Tocantins. That's what it was. But then he does like a bunch of stuff, I think.
Well, now he's on that show Marriage Boot Camp with him and Rachel are both on it, dude.
Yeah, he's playing up his celebrity too.
He really is. So I think
He's a funny guy. I feel like he thinks he's like a stand-up comedian.
which I would pay to watch him do stand up. I think that guy's hysterical. I love Tyson.
No, he's hysterical. I wonder if if he did stand-up, if he'd be any good.
Yeah.
Um,
His confessionals made me laugh. I like Tyson. I think he's an easy no collar. I don't think that he doesn't fit with blue and he doesn't fit with white, that's for sure.
yeah, that works for me. On to Tony.
He's an easy blue collar.
Ah,
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say.
And I mean, I guess what I'll just say is the way he talked about the way he was a cop, like he's running, jumping from rooftop to rooftop and all that stuff, the way he even talked about it on the show, doesn't like I mean that's blue collar. You know what I mean? Like he's he's doing it up.
Right, he's not white collar. He's not no collar. He's blue collar.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally Natalie Anderson, the winner of San Juan del Sur.
And she almost falls in kind of with like Rob and Amber, where she just kind of got on a TV show, became famous on the TV show, and then just went on to another TV show. So I feel like she's a no collar, and she even what is she?
She's like a reality star. Like that's her job, is being like a
Yeah.
reality star.
Yeah, and I guess her other job was that she was like some type of fitness thing, which is also no collar, but especially, I mean, she really is a reality star. I don't care what else she says she does.
And wait, what'd you say? Fitness something?
Fitness something. I think she was listed as like a fitness or
That
Survivor
doesn't
doesn't
seem
do.
right. Cause not to like hate on Natalie, but she's not the most like fit person. Like we've had personal trainers on the show who are like ripped. Like she doesn't seem like a fitness person.
She's a CrossFit coach and physical therapy student.
Okay, we're no collar either way.
Yeah, CrossFit coach. I mean, and like I said, the thing with her is no matter what you say she does, she's a reality star. She would not have been on Survivor had it not been for the fact that she was on The Amazing Race with her sister.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Well, I mean, we only had a few like really iffy ones. I think most people you can really. Yeah, I would say was easier than I thought. Most of these people land. You can kind of pick out something for them.
Well, you know what it is when you try to do it on your own. I think it's a little bit harder because you're like, wait, that person could be either. But I think when you kind of talk it out a little bit, it becomes a little bit easier. But I'm curious, which one won? Who has the most? It's no collar, right? I think I got 12 no collar.
I have 11, but I didn't count Denise because Denise is wild card.
Oh, I put Denise as a no collar.
Okay, then I have 10 blue,
Who do you
which
not?
would leave which would leave only like 6 or 7 white collar. So white collar definitely is last.
Yeah, white collar's last, and I think no collar's definitely first, and then blue is down one, depending on where we put Denise.
Right.
Yeah, that would leave 6 white collar. That's it. One, two,
Maybe, yeah.
three, four,
Hopefully, yeah. Well, do
five.
you want to start making the tribes, and then we'll just see where we kind of land with things? Hopefully, this
Well,
works.
hopefully. Well, I think what you do is you start with white collar. If we only have 6 of them, your tribe's made as long as it's 3 and 3.
Okay, sure. So let's do the guys. We're gonna do 3 guys, 3 girls each tribe. So Hatch, Yule, and Earl.
Those are the only 3 white collar guys
Those
we
are
have.
the only white collar guys. So we don't really have much wiggle room here.
And
Um,
I think it's kind of funny with those 3 guys, just like to comment on that real quick. Those 3 guys, like they came into the game with a plan, and they were never in danger at all on their season. And I think that's kind of funny because, you know, with all the blue collar and no collar winners, most of them were threats at like one point. These guys were never in trouble at all. Like none of the 3 of them were ever in trouble. Yule maybe with the mutiny when it was 8-4, but then he controlled his little group of people, and I mean he waltzed through. I mean, it's kind of funny. They might have played the 3 most dominant games, and they're all white collar.
yeah, I think it would be so fun to see the 3 of them on the same tribe. Like this kind of gets me excited for season 30. If you have 3 guys like Hatch, Yule, I mean, we're obviously picking winners here, so this would be more exciting. But if you have like 3 like really, I mean, these are 3 pretty white collar dudes that like have a plan, very smart, very well spoken, know what they're gonna like. That would be really fun to watch. And so far, our white collar tribe, I'm pretty happy with Hatch, Yule, and Earl. We've only seen Hatch twice, and we haven't seen Yule and Earl back since their winning season. So
And Hatch is somebody that everybody wanted to see back on Heroes versus Villains because when he came back on All Stars, he got a little bit of a raw deal because the All Stars were on a witch hunt for winners. They wanted all the winners gone, so he kind of got screwed, and he almost saved himself even in his boot episode. And if he wasn't in jail or under house arrest or whatever he is now, he would have been great for Heroes versus Villains, and we wouldn't have had to sit through a Coach or a Tyson screw up.
right, I think this would be this tribe so far. I'm pretty happy with. I'm just to see like Yule and Hatch and Earl just on like. Do you think they would butt heads? Do you think they just like stick together and be this super dominant power alliance, all planning on blindsiding each other at one point?
I think that
Like,
they would probably. I think they'd stick together because I don't know who would have the advantage.
Yeah, and like, I just who comes out of this alive? I honestly feel like they would just they'd be friendly and an alliance to some point, and then they'd all try to stab each other in the back, and they would kind of cannibalize themselves. and none of them would win. Would be my prediction.
Well, you know how I think that they would get. I think they'd get broken up by when they actually did merge. I feel like all three of them would make it there, and I think that the blue or the no would have to get together and get rid of them because I don't. I think they could stick together, and I think the one who would turn the fastest would be Hatch.
Yeah, but if like Yule and Earl come back a second time, they're going to be more ruthless and more like you really don't know. We're just speculating. But
Funny to do.
yeah,
though.
they're three strong guys. I mean, we'll have to have other strong people to even out the tribes, but they're all kind of a little bit older, but they're all fairly strong. So
Yeah, and I feel like with this age doesn't make too much of a difference when you're doing an all-winter season because everybody's going to be older than when they played.
fair enough. Even though they all come in the first 13
14
seasons,
14
seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, even if you look at it though, like somebody like Tony, he was already close to 40, and he was playing 2 seasons ago. So Earl and Yule, they were. I think Yule might have been in his 20s when he played. I don't know about Earl. I think Earl was in his 30s. Hatch is like in his 50s, I think now, but still, they play mind games. They don't play physical games as much.
Okay. Fun to see. Let's do the females for this white collar tribe. I don't think we have much of a choice. Vecepia, Natalie White,
And Sophie.
and Sophie. Unless we wanted to put Denise in there, it would be Vecepia, Natalie White, and Sophie.
And I think
they're kind of three boring winners, you could say. Three of not any fault of their own or their game, but the edit that was shown on TV. If you look at Vecepia, Natalie, and Sophie, those are none of those really stand out as like exciting winners.
And I feel like here what you have two of the most underappreciated winners in Sophie and Vecepia. Vecepia gets she gets a raw deal, man. She gets
Natalie, I think all of these girls are super underrated.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I guess what I would say here is if they were on this tribe with these people, with Yule, Hatch, and Earl, what you have here is you almost have a somewhat boring tribe that would just be thinking so far ahead of everybody else, I feel like.
It would be so boring that it'd be so great to see. Like imagine like Sophie and Hatch like having an alliance. Like that'd just be.
Well, here's something I want to say here, and this is interesting to me, and I want to see if you notice this. What's funny about all of these winners is when you look at Yule, it was him, Sundra, Becky, and Ozzy. He found 3 people he could completely trust, and he ran with them to the end. Hatch had Sue, Kelly, and Rudy. The 3 of them ran with them completely to the end. Earl had Dreams, Cassandra, and Yowman, had them all the way to the end. Sophie had Coach, Albert, and Brandon, ran with them all the way to the end. Vecepia had what? Sean Rector, Kathy, Pascal, Nalia, ran with them to the end, and then Natalie had her little crew. They all found like their little group and didn't have to make big moves ever. They didn't have to make any big moves, and they dominated their games.
Well, Natalie had to make a lot of moves.
Well, she had to make...
made the Eric blindside happen. That was no credit to Russell. They were on the bottom.
Well, okay, but I guess what I'm saying here is Vecepia made one move, and that was
they didn't blindside like crazy, like you'd think they would.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is they never had to break their alliances to go out of the way to blindside somebody who was their right-hand man like Todd had to do with James. That's what I'm kind of getting at here.
Yeah, no, I hear you. These people they played pretty straight up games.
Yeah, and
that's kind of interesting how that works out.
Yeah, and
so are we going to stick with this tribe, or are we maybe wiggle Denise in here? We should do everything else and then see, because I just feel like the females on this tribe might be a little boring, especially because the men have been a little boring. With Yule, Earl, not Hatch, of course.
Here's what I think you do with this. I think we have to see what we do with blue collar and no collar, but I kind of like how the personalities are all kind of the same, and that's what you kind of want when it's white collar, blue collar, no collar. I feel like if we throw in a Denise there, she's too different from the rest of them. Even though she's not that much different, I feel like she's a little too different from the rest of them.
And Denise just isn't really white collar,
Yeah, and let's be honest here. Between Hatch And I could see Hatch and Natalie White being very entertaining, especially now that Natalie White's not getting completely overshadowed by Russell. And I never had a problem with Yule or Earl or Versepia, and Sophie got overshadowed by Coach. I think you give that tribe a shot, and that could actually be a very fun tribe to watch just because they're all like neurotic people. You know?
Yeah, and I mean they all kind of play similar style. I mean, they're very perceptive. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
It would be fun to see like how this tribe shakes out. So I'll just say it one more time. It's Hatch, Yule, Earl, Vecepia, Natalie White, and Soapy.
And that would be a tribe I'd love to see to go to Tribal Council first, because I would love to see what they did. I would just love to see who got played the best by who's obviously a great player, because they're all great players. They're just it's so weird to look at that group right there. Like that really is. That's like a Survivor's that's like a weird dream for everybody. That's just it
is. It's weird because it's not like that explosive or crazy. It's just kind of like 6 people who really played a similar kind of, similar style. Okay, should we move on to blue collar?
Yeah, let's go to blue collar next because they have the second most in their little thing.
Okay.
Winners.
So I guess we can start by saying like who do we really want to see back? Like let's try to eliminate some people. Like I don't want to see Rob, so we can just take out Rob. We'll start with the guys and then we'll do the girls.
Get rid of Rob, and then out of the rest of them, I'd like to see all of them play.
Like Tom, we've seen him twice. If we really have to pick 3 guys from the blue collar, I probably don't go with Tom just because we've seen him play.
I guess what's easier for me is my top 2 that you definitely have to put on this tribe are Tony and Chris. I feel like you have to put them on this tribe.
Yeah, I mean we want to see Chris play again, and we want to see Tony play again pretty badly. So
yeah, and I feel like that they fit the blue collar thing so well, and we've only seen him play once. Tony was fantastic to watch. Chris, if you can remember him, was fantastic to watch. And I feel like they need to come back because they only played once and they were very fun to watch. Who do we give that 3rd spot to, though?
So what are our options? We have Tom,
Bob.
Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
Tom, Todd, Bob, and JT, and I already ruled out Rob.
Damn.
That's tough. That really is.
In a situation like this, do you think Survivor goes with who they think is the most blue collar out of all of them?
No. I don't want to do what Survivor. I mean, I want to do
do you think
what
that
we want to see.
But
I honestly think you take out Tom and JT just because we've seen him play twice.
So you would take out JT even though he is we deemed him like the poster child for blue collar.
Yeah, we have Chris in there, and you said Chris was like the poster child. I mean, I would honestly want to see
Todd.
Yeah. I mean, even though he's like the least blue collar, like a gay flight attendant, like skinny guy, doesn't work outside or with his hands, like Jeff said. But I would love to see Todd play again, and you can fit him in the blue collar. That's what we put him as, and I think that gives you a tribe with Chris, Todd, and Tony.
That's a fun
Todd
tribe.
and Tony on the same tribe would be so fun to watch.
I mean, Todd and Tony are 2 of the sneakiest players like ever, and then Chris is like one of the biggest liars ever. Chris and Tony would have conversations, and nothing would be the truth.
But see, that's what we don't know if these players would align with each other or would they try to get each other out immediately or be threatened by each other. I mean, we don't know. I think we put Todd in there, man.
I think I like putting Todd in there because, like you said, we saw JT, we saw Tom, we saw them both play twice. And I do love Tom, and I don't love JT. I like the way he played in Heroes versus Villains. Tocantins was bizarre, cult-like thing. I love Tom. I'd love to see Tom play again. I think he's one of the best winners. But Todd, I mean, if you can get Todd to play a second time, any excuse to put Todd in for a second time, I say you take it.
Yeah, sign me up. And the guy we're not really talking about much is Bob Crowley. Yeah, I mean, I just rather see Todd.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Bob. You love Fabio, I love Bob. Like that's like those are our underrated winners. And I really love Bob. I'd like to see him play again, but at the same time, what is he really going to do that much differently? And he would also, I feel like he's the old guy who would kind of get almost like the Rudy treatment in All-Stars where it's like you're too old, we got to get rid of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see that happening as well. And Todd, I would just love to see Todd play so much more than I'd like to
yeah,
see Bob play. So,
yeah. I hear you. I agree. I
so
love
our
Todd.
our three males for the blue color are Chris, Todd, and Tony. Love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so now we'll do blue collar females. So who do you have to choose from? We have Tina, Sandra, um,
And Kim,
Kim,
that's all we have.
and like we have Denise floating still.
We still have Denise floating.
So I guess we have only three. So, but I really don't want to pick Sandra just because I just don't think she's really ever going to play again. I kind of want to make this at least not that this is going to happen and we're going to send this to someone and Jeff's going to be like, oh hey, but just like just for my own like just
Personal
not to
joy.
put Sandra in there because
Well,
she
why
just
don't?
has no chance at winning. Like it just no one's going to let Sandra win.
Okay, but let's look at the no collar women because we only had 3 white collar women, so we got rid of them. Let's look at the no collar women and see who we could possibly put on blue. Denise obviously is one of them. Natalie Anderson, no.
Well, no, as in yes, like no caller.
Yeah, I don't think she could fit in the blue collar.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, you said we were looking at no caller females, right? So
Yeah.
Natalie is one, Danny is one,
The only one you can
Jenna.
really, the only one you can really put as a blue collar would be Denise.
I'm looking through the list. Yeah, but then who does that leave us for no caller?
That would leave us with Jenna, Amber, Danny, Parvati, Natalie Anderson.
It's tough
It is. This is where
because I
like
would
having less
you
female winners makes it
because you
tougher.
you would definitely go Natalie Anderson and Danny, right?
Yeah.
And then the third spot, like, do we really want to see Amber play again?
No.
Do
I
we
don't
really
like
want to
Amber that
see
much.
do we want to see Jenna play for a third time?
Oh, you
Do we
know,
want to see Parvati play for a fourth time?
I don't want to see Parvati.
So it's like then that would have to be Denise.
Let's let's do this for now. Let's pencil in for blue collar. Let's pencil in the Tina, Sandra, Kim. Just for now.
Okay.
And then this way when we get to the no collar, if we're sitting there and we really are talking about it, we can always swap somebody out for Sandra.
Yeah, there just aren't really as many. There's not as many female winners, so that's why it is tougher.
That's why it hurts it more.
Um, but I mean, I just don't like putting Sandra in there. I think we put Denise in there for now.
All right, put Denise in there over Sandra. So we got
Okay.
Tina, Denise, and Kim. Tina, who would be playing for a fourth time, but like I always feel with Tina, all 3 times that she played, she wins Australia. She gets what last place in All Stars. Then she doesn't come back till season 27, and she's never overbearing, which I like about Tina. So I don't mind putting her on a season.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like it's not like a Russell or a Boston Rob or a Parvati where they're going to hog all the screen time. I don't mind having Tina on there with a bunch of other big personalities. I like
Yeah,
Tina.
and she's a great player too. So
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with having Tina be in there, even though it kind of breaks our rule. We don't want like these multiple time players. But yeah, I'm totally cool with that. So that tribe is Chris, Todd, Tony, Tina, Kim, and Denise. And again, another super fun tribe.
It is, and I don't feel like what it is. They're not as weird, like in terms of like their gameplay, because these guys all play differently, and I think that's kind of why this tribe is almost like what I feel like we're not going to see on season 30, where these people all played a very, very, very different game. Some of them played. I mean, Denise played the social game. Tina played the social game. Todd just grabbed his alliance and ran. Tony played like a madman. Chris was constantly on the ropes, and then Kim just dominated. It's
Yeah,
all
these are
very different games.
all different.
You know.
So yeah, it'd just be interesting to see like Denise and Kim. Would they be tight or would they be threatened by each other? That's like my biggest question with these because it's all winners. So you have to align with someone. But then again, everyone you're aligning with is a threat because they've won the game before. So I mean, this would just be so much fun to see.
It really would. And I feel like out of that whole thing, that whole tribe, I feel like Chris would do the best because I feel like most of them are more recent winners, and I feel like they would kind of forget that what Chris did on his season. He's almost like an overlooked like character because he was all the way back in season 9. It was the follow-up to All-Stars. It was a little bit forgotten, and you have winners Denise, Kim, Tony. They all won in the 20s, like late 20s.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I feel like that could be a fun tribe too. I'm still more excited about the white tribe, and I shouldn't be. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about that too. Let's see if we can figure out what we're gonna do for no collar.
This has the most. This has a lot to work with here.
Yeah, we do. Female-wise, I don't think so because we already. Well, we'll start with the females because we already penciled in Danny and Natalie are slam dunks that we.
Yeah, season 29, Natalie.
Yeah,
so that everybody knows.
Right. I'd love to see Natalie play against some real competition because San Juan del Sur was just a joke of a cast.
And I would love to see Danny play again and actually like not be scared of production so that we could hear what's going on in her head so that people could understand that she actually is a great winner. I really do think she's a great winner.
Yeah, she explained her, she was fearful that if she talked to the camera that giving confessionals, she didn't want to give too much information away because she thought production would, reveal some of that to like Stephanie, who they were in love with. So
yeah.
So who's our last? We don't really have many. We have Amber and Jenna.
Yeah, we're not putting Parvati. I'm not watching Parvati.
Yeah, we can ask Parvati. We don't want to see her play a 4th time. Between Amber and Jenna, you probably got to go Jenna here just because it's like on her 2nd season. She really didn't play a 2nd time. Like she quit pretty early because of her, like a pretty legit reason.
Yeah, her mom.
She did win like my favorite season.
To me, she won one of the hardest seasons to win.
Yeah, and she did it by winning immunity, like the last 2 immunities. That was her. Not like she made some crazy moves or anything, but she's good to look at. I don't know who else we really have to put in here.
And my thing with Amber is Amber rode coattails. I feel like, and people can argue it, but Amber rode coattails all of All-Star. She rode Boston Rob all the way to the end, and really she should have been gone right when they did the little mix-up. Lex should have just gotten rid of her, but Lex is an idiot, and Lex can be a bitter old man about it. But, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Amber, I don't want to see Amber play again. I wasn't thrilled with her in Australia. Not really happy with her as the winner of All-Stars because that means she's the best All-Star from the first 7 seasons. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it just doesn't make much sense. She was successful because of a very bitter jury. Jenna wins a very fun season, comes back for All-Stars. Her mom's about to die. She ends up leaving because her mom did die. I feel like Jenna's the way to go here. You don't really fault her for quitting in that situation. It's not like a fair play situation or, something like that. This was serious, So I'd like to see Jenna play again against some real competition.
Okay, so Jenna it is for the third female. So that would leave us with Jenna, Danny, and Natalie Anderson, and that's a good mix of people. You have Natalie, who is Natalie probably the youngest out of them, but she's like super strategic and played like a really sound game. You have Jenna, who kind of, she won immunity in the last 2. She kind of backwards her way into victory, but that doesn't mean she would do the same thing again. And then you have Danny, who we kind of don't know all that much about.
And what you get with these 3 women is they're the strongest women, like in terms of physicality. They're the 3. They're all very, very like good physical players. Like Danny was like a great physical player. Jenna's a deceivingly physical player because everybody just looks at her and like, oh, she's nothing. And then with Natalie being like the CrossFit coach and stuff like that, she beat everybody at that final challenge. What do you call it? So
not that her competition was much, but yeah,
she actually lost to Jacqueline, didn't she? Yeah, she did lose to Jacqueline, but it doesn't matter. She was beating her up and down the stairs. What I'm saying is, this is a physical group of women compared to the other ones that we have so far.
I don't know. Well, Kim and Denise on the same tribe. That's definitely, so I know they have Tina in there as well, but yeah, I guess on average, yeah, this tribe is definitely has the strongest females. Sure. Okay, so we have that. Now we'll do the males, the no-color males.
This
Fabio,
is
we gotta have Fabio. I'm
Fabio's a guarantee.
not letting you take Fabio away from me.
No. Fabio is a guarantee. I'm not arguing that one with you. Fabio's a guarantee because you got to see him play again. And you got to see him play with real people to see like what's going on here. Like I would
Dude,
love to see.
he could win it again so easily because people would totally overlook him. He's a
Again.
physical threat. He's nice and livable. Like you can live with Fabio. Like I could totally see him pulling off like a win in an all-winter season.
Well, here's my thing. It's the reason why there's more no-collar winners than anything else because they're always underestimated. If you look at most of the no-collar winners, other than maybe like Ethan, he was kind of underestimated by Lex. Jenna was underestimated. Amber was underestimated. Danny was underestimated. Aris not so much. Parvati underestimated. They're all underestimated people, and I think that's why they win more because people aren't looking at them as like a huge threat like a Chris, Tony, Kim, stuff like that. I think that's why more no collars win. I don't know. Maybe that's just weird theorizing, but I think that's why more win.
Hey, could be. Yeah, but, a lot of those people are underrated.
Look at the white collar real quick, and it's like they have 6 of them because people when they see a white collar person, they assume strategic threat or physical threat. Like you know what I mean? You kind of get the image in your head. With no collar, it's kind of like what is their threatening attribute? What is Fabio threatening at? That he's going to pee in the pool? Like what is threatening about Fabio? It's true, and that's what helped him win.
And no collar does have the most winners.
Yeah.
And you picked no collar at the beginning. Who you think's going to win 30? So
yeah,
I'm sticking with blue just because I don't know. It's a shot in the dark. Okay, so we definitely have Fabio in here. We got to see Brian come back, right?
Oh yeah, we both love Brian. Put Brian back in there.
Okay. So Brian, Fabio, we have room for one more no collar.
And it's between Tyson, Cochran, Aris, and Ethan, all people who have played multiple times.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, so there's nothing we could do, guys. We tried to keep them away, but
no collar no collar people get brought back the most too because they have just nothing to do with their lives.
And their characters. They're characters. Tyson's a character. Cochran's a character. They're all more of characters than the white collar. That's probably why we haven't seen Yule or Earl back, but you see Tyson play 3 times.
Yeah, well, we're not picking Tyson. I don't want to see Tyson play again.
I don't want to see Tyson. I don't want Tyson or Cochran to play again, to be honest with you.
We just saw Cochran. We just saw Tyson. Ethan's kind of a bore. I mean, so it's between Ethan and Aris. I'm more impressed with Aris's win than Ethan's win, that's for sure. But we did see Aris in season 27.
And Tyson won that battle. You know what I mean? So Tyson won the battle of Aris. You know what it is that annoys me is like with Cochran, you didn't like his win in Caramoan. It was almost like it happened before the show because everybody on that season was like friends with Cochran before they got out there. Like they all like hung out. Like it was a weird season. So I mean, we got Fabio, we got Brian, so that's a good stretch.
I think it has to be Aris just because we don't want to do Cochran or Tyson. We've seen too much of them recently. Aris won all the way back in season 13, 11?
He won in 12, season 12.
12? Okay. I mixed all those middle seasons up. So he hasn't his win in Blood vs. Water. He wasn't like an annoying, dominating person. Like they really concentrated with like him and Vetus. So it'd be fun to see him kind of play again on his own and amongst all winners. And he fits the no collar thing perfectly. He's like a yoga instructor, musician.
And I know you were talking about like, oh, this is something that like I want to make it somewhat realistic. Sandra would never play again. You got to remember, Ethan's been battling cancer for how many years? So would Ethan really play again?
Yeah.
Ethan's not going to play again, I don't think.
Yeah. And we have a pretty
put Aris.
So we're going with Aris here, right?
Yeah, let's go with Aris on that.
Okay. So that leaves the no color tribe: Brian, Fabio, Aris, Jenna, Danny, Natalie Anderson.
And I think that's a great tribe.
That's a fun tribe. See Brian and Fabio in the same tribe. That's like a dream come true.
Well, for me, what's a dream come true for me is to see Brian be his like typical asshole self. Then you get Fabio, who's like the goofball, and then you get Aris, who's kind of in the middle. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, which side does he side with? And it's like, will Brian still be so into himself, and will Fabio still try to act so clueless? That would be a fun tribe to watch. That's the most fun one, I think. I like Danny. I like Jenna. I'd love to see Natalie Anderson play against real people. That could be a really fun tribe.
Yeah, I think this actually turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, if you look at it, you probably have the strongest men on, oh God, I don't even know. Which
Blue collar.
men? You think blue collar with Todd still?
Todd's pretty, he can do the puzzles and stuff. I mean, you have Chris, Todd,
Yeah.
Tony versus Hatch, Yule, Earl. I worry that they're just a little,
Old.
past their time. And then you have Brian, who's getting older, Fabio, who's pretty good at challenges, and then no big muscles, just kind of very athletic. That's an athletic group. But I mean, overall, and like we said, that athletic group with the no collars, they have probably the strongest woman. But they're strong. They're strong players all around. So it's and they're all winners. So they're all threats, and this would be fun to see. So let's run it through one more time. I'll do the white collar tribe.
Yeah, and then I'll just do.
We have Hatch, Yule, Earl, Vecepia, Natalie White, and Sophie.
And then with blue collar, we had Chris, Tony, Todd, Tina, Kim, and then we threw Denise in, even though when we went through it in the thing, we had her as no collar. But she was a wild card, so we kind of moved her over to make.
Yeah, no, we didn't have her as no. We had her as a wild card. So
yeah, so we wanted her to for the entertainment. It was between blue and no. We put her at blue.
Right. No collar. Brian, Fabio, Aris, Jenna, Danny, Natalie Anderson. I think those are three pretty good tribes.
That's a fun cast, man. And you know what? If they're going to do an all-winner season, which I don't think they're ever going to do, but if they ever were to do it, I feel like this is this is somewhat of a good way. You got to separate it into three tribes and give some sort of theme, because I feel like this would be a fun thing.
I feel like if they ever do a winter season, and they probably won't, like you said, but if they do a winter season, I think that is the theme. It's winter season, and then they probably have Boston Rob, Parvati, Tyson, Cochran if they do. Sadly, this is a dream. This is like
We took out all the fat here. We took out the three-timers except for Tina. We have Tina. Okay, here's something to look at. We have Tina, who played 3 times. We had Hatch, who played twice. We had Jenna, who played twice. And Aris, who played twice. Everybody else played once.
That's right.
3 people played multiple times. See, they can do it.
They can do it. This would be fun to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of one-timers.
Well, you have anything else for this draft or for season 30? I mean, next week we should be getting some cast announcement.
Yeah, otherwise we're doing the Brian Heidick episode, right? Isn't that what we said? That would be
entertaining.
Full of pictures and videos and illustrations.
Articles.
Yeah.
About
We might get his softcore corn career restarted.
Yeah. Yo, maybe we can have him do an interview.
Maybe.
Get him on the show.
I just don't want him to find me and hurt me. I'm
Oh
scared.
no.
I have a dog.
Okay, well, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will hopefully have some real season 30 stuff. This is just kind of fake season 30 stuff.
It's off-season stuff.
Yeah, it's off-season stuff. All right.
All right. Next week.